guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're switching it up a little bit. I'm going to be giving you guys my summer movie recommendations. I'm a big fan of a seasonal movie, whether it's fall, winter, summer. I just think film is a great way to be immersed in a season or get yourself ready for a season. And since it's summer, I wanted to share my summer movie recommendations and movies that I like to watch every year to get myself in the summer mood. A little disclaimer, because I'm scared of the film bro community. Not all of these movies are Oscar worthy, technically magnificent, life-changing works of film. Some of them are, but a lot of them are just fun, summery, nostalgic movies, so don't come for me. We're starting off with, in my opinion, one of the most underrated movies of all time, and definitely one of the most underrated summer movies, The Way, Way Back. This is a coming-of-age movie. It follows a boy who is being forced to spend his summer vacation at his mom's boyfriend's summer house, and to put it lightly, the guy is a huge jerk, and he just feels very unwelcome and awkward and doesn't know what to do with himself, and he ends up at the town's water park where he gets a job and befriends the owner. And maybe I'm just biased because my first job was a lifeguard at a water park, but it's so summery, it's so funny. The cast is insane. Toni Collette, Steve Carell, Sam Rockwell, Allison Janney, Anna Sophia Robb, Maya Rudolph. There are so many good people in this, and it's just a really beautiful coming of age story, a mother-son story, found family. It's so fun to see him come out of his shell and have fun at the water park. It's just perfect if you want something fun and summery, but something that also is gonna make you feel something. It's great and so underrated. The next one is definitely a nostalgic throwback type of movie, but I literally cannot go a summer without watching this, and it's Hannah Montana the movie. Hear me out. Yes, I loved this movie when I was a kid, and I definitely have that nostalgic love for it, but genuinely I think this is a pretty good movie. Like, especially if we're talking Disney movies, like Disney Channel type movies, like this is a good movie. Again, the film bros are rolling their eyes right now and clicking off probably, but the girls will get it. If you don't know what this movie is about, Hannah Montana, after okay, let me be serious. Hannah Montana is struggling with her fame and is letting it go to her head, so her father forces her to go back to their small town in Tennessee and spend the summer there, and it is just so summery. She lives on a farm in this small town in the south. She's feeding the chickens, she's going on horseback rides, she's swimming in rivers and waterfalls, and she has her cute little cowboy boyfriend, and this movie just has the best vibes. Like, genuinely, if you liked this movie when you were younger and you have not rewatched it as an adult, please do, because it genuinely will give you the best, most wholesome summer vibes ever. I'm obsessed with it. Moving on to another summer classic, in my opinion. Again, it's not summer until I've watched this movie. Call Me By Your Name. I feel like Call Me By Your Name has been sort of divisive the past few years, which I understand. I think you have to look at Call Me By Your Name not as a romance, but as a coming of age movie. It's set in the 1980s Italian countryside, and it follows Elio and the relationship he has with an older man who is staying at his house for the summer and is one of his father's students. I love this movie. I love this story. I love the book. It is just, I don't even know how to describe it really. This movie is just so authentic and poetic and so beautiful, and aside from that, it is just the most summery movie ever. It's gorgeous. I think this is one of the most stunning movies I've ever seen. Every shot of Italy, every shot of the house they live in, Crema, which is where they live in Italy, the pools, the fruit trees, it is just so stunning. It's so immersive. It's one of those movies where you watch it and you feel like you're there, you feel like you can smell it and hear it and feel the sun on your skin. It's so immersive, so summery, and so beautiful. Although this is not a movie you want to be like, woohoo, summer, I just want to have fun. This is like you want to sit and stare at a wall and rethink your life when you finish it. It's that kind of movie. Now, if you don't want to have an existential crisis and you want more of a traditional rom-com, I recommend Set It Up. This follows two very underpaid, underappreciated, overworked assistants who meet in their office building and think that if they can set up their two bosses together, it will mean that they have less work and that they will have more free time. So they hatch this plan and they're working together to set up their bosses, and from there they become friends. I think this is such an underrated rom-com. I love this movie so much. I've watched it a ton. Glenn Powell and Zoe Deutsch have such good chemistry, and I love to see New York in the summertime. I feel like so many movies set in New York are either set in the fall or the winter, or the season just isn't really relevant, where this movie I feel like you really get to see a New York summer. They're going to rooftop parties, they go to a Yankee game, things like that. It's maybe not as summery as some of the other movies just because you can only get so summery in New York City, but it's such a good rom-com. They have such good chemistry. It's so much fun, and it has definitely become a comfort movie of mine. Next up is Glass Onion. This is the sequel to Knives Out. It's a whodunit murder mystery. An eccentric billionaire invites all of his friends to his private island in Greece, where one of them ends up dead, and you have these sort of insane cast of characters. Amongst them is a detective who is trying to figure out what's going on, and it really is just like the perfect whodunit. It's very summery, obviously, because it's set on an island in Greece, and I feel like this is kind of an everybody can like it movie if you need something to watch with your family. Maybe you don't like rom-coms that has a different feel. Definitely would recommend this. Next we have another nostalgic one for me, The Parent Trap. I am not kidding when I tell you I watched this movie probably 100 times when I was a kid. It's about two girls who meet at summer camp and realize that they are long lost twins, and every second of this movie screams summer. They meet at summer camp, they switch places. The one sister lives in this gorgeous vineyard in California, in this stunning home with this amazing pool. That is like my dream home. I think about that house weekly. The other sister is from London. They meet up and go on a camping trip at the end. It is just so summery and so good. I feel like this is just a classic. I'm sure most people, I would think, have seen this, but again, if you haven't rewatched this as an adult, I would recommend it because I still think it really holds up. You have the cute relationship of the sisters getting to know each other, swapping places, meeting their other birth parents for the first time, and it's also a little bit of a rom-com. It's just so much fun and is so happy and so summery. I feel like it would be wrong of me to not mention the next movie. I feel like it's illegal to make a video about summer movies and not put this in, and it's Mamma Mia. Again, a movie I probably watched 100 times when I was younger. This is a musical set in Greece, and Sophie is about to get married, and she doesn't know who her biological father is, but she finds her mom's diary and finds 3 men that it could potentially be, and so she invites them all to the wedding. Shenanigans ensue. The cast is crazy. It's Meryl Streep, Amanda Seyfried, Colin Firth. It has so many good people in it. Obviously, if you don't like musicals, it's probably not for you. It's very campy and over the top, and even though it is goofy and fun, it also has a lot of heart. I think the mother-daughter relationship portrayed in this is really beautiful, and the mom and the longtime friends, and how much the men still care for her and end up caring for Sophie. It's just really wholesome and really fun, and just a summer classic. This next movie doesn't actually take place during the summer, but to me it has summer vibes, and that's Almost Famous. The main character in this movie is William, and he is 15 years old, but he really wants to be a rock journalist. So he lies about his age and ends up getting an assignment to do a cover story for Rolling Stone on the band Stillwater, and ends up going on tour with them as a 15-year-old. It's set in the 70s. This is like the 70s movie I feel like that everybody recommends. This movie is so good. It is just one of my favorites, period. This is actually inspired by the director Cameron Crowe's real life, going on tour with bands like Led Zeppelin, The Eagles, and Lynyrd Skynyrd, and you're seeing these crazy rock stars, and you're seeing him and his just coming of age in such an unusual environment, and his relationship with the Band-Aids, who are like the groupies of the band. Kate Hudson is the leader, and how these bands took advantage of young girls as well, and it's such a good portrayal of the 70s and the 70s rock culture, while also being just a fun movie. Great costumes, great soundtrack, and even though it doesn't take place in the summer, to me it just has summer vibes. Next is another movie that doesn't really take place in the summer. It takes place over many years, and that is Rocket Man. This is a biopic that follows the life of Elton John. It's a musical, so again, if you don't like musicals, this probably won't be for you. This follows the entire life of Elton John, from his childhood to the height of his fame, his substance control issues, his relationship with his manager, his eventual break that he took, you know, his rise to fame, and how all that played out. I personally like biopics. I know at this point they're kind of getting to be overdone, which I agree with, but this is one of my favorites. I think it's so much fun. I just love Elton John, so I love the music. I think Taron Egerton did a really good job portraying him. I love Richard Madden, who's also in it, and it's the perfect blend, in my opinion, of fun musical, and also you're getting his like pretty sad backstory, and I appreciate that they really flesh it out. I think it's easy for a biopic where the actual people are involved for it to get watered down, and I really appreciate that he shows the truth and how he was kind of awful and really self-sabotaging and going through a lot. I think it's really honest while at the same time still being a fun musical. And let's continue on the trend of movies I think have summer vibes that actually aren't set in the summer, because I have one more, and that is Hunger Games Catching Fire. If you've been here before, you know how I feel about the Hunger Games. My all-time favorite series of anything ever. Those books literally raised me. Something about Catching Fire just feels like a summer movie to me, probably because the arena is an island and they filmed it in Hawaii, so it just has that summery feel. This is the second in a series. I'm sure everyone in the world knows that, but it is the second movie in the Hunger Games series. In my opinion, I think it's the best movie, and truly I will just take any excuse to rewatch these movies, so me turning Catching Fire into a summer movie just gives me that excuse to rewatch it every summer. And again, I feel like I've said this 100 times in this video already, but if you have not rewatched these movies as an adult or reread the books, you are doing yourself a disservice, because out of all the dystopian movies and stuff that came out of that craze, The Hunger Games truly is by far the best one and the one that holds up the most, and I think has the most to say. So do yourself a favor, pick up the book, throw those movies on, because they are so good. Next up, we have another Miley Cyrus movie, The Last Song. This is, I think, a Nicholas Sparks movie. The main character in this, Ronnie, is being forced to spend the summer with her dad at his beach house. Her parents have gotten divorced a few years before this, and she just has a lot of anger and resentment towards her father, and she's going through just a teenage rebellious phase in general, getting into trouble, quitting music, which is what she really loved, and is not happy that she is being sent to spend the summer away from her friends. But then she meets the love interest, who, yes, is Liam Hemsworth, and this is where they fell in love in real life, so trigger warning for that. It's actually so sad when you rewatch it knowing how much history they ended up having. But this is just such a fun teen movie, coming of age. I think it's set in North Carolina or South Carolina. They live on the beach, they go to the boardwalk, they're saving sea turtles, they're going to the aquarium. Very summery, and you get to see her sort of getting out of this rebellious phase and getting back to her true self and falling in love, and seeing her rekindle her relationship with her dad, and her little brother is in it too, who's so cute. There is definitely some more serious and emotional moments, but overall it's such a good summer coming of age romance type movie. For the last two, we're following the trend of nostalgic, throwback, just sort of silly fun movies. The first one is Cheaper by the Dozen 2. The parents in this both had a bunch of kids separately before they got married, so now they're married and it is a family of 12, so there's a ton of kids, a ton of characters. And the first one is them, like, they move, I think, and they're just settling into this new family and this new place. And this one is set at a lake house over the summer, and there's so many like side plots because there's so many kids, but it's them, and then there's this rich family across the lake that they're sort of competing with but also befriending, and there's like this big competition at the end of the summer that they want to win, and it's just so summery and fun. I love a lake house setting. Steve Martin is the dad, who honestly, like, I'm not always a huge fan of him, but I do think he's funny in this. The family dynamic is really fun too, and it's just a fun, silly summer movie. We're ending off with a banger. I feel like if you are a girl roughly my age in your 20s, you probably saw this movie when you were younger, and that's Aquamarine. This in my head is what I call a sleepover movie. If you want to feel like you're at an early 2000s sleepover, put this movie on. It's about two best friends who, after a really big storm, find a mermaid washed up in their pool. So they befriend her. They are trying to make her blend in with real people, while also trying to figure out what to do with her being a mermaid and sending her back to the ocean or not, because she is fighting with her mermaid dad. And it's so cute. Again, it's set in a beach town, so very summery, and at the end of the day it's also just a really good story about female friendship, and just perfect for a chill summer night with the girls. That was the last one. Again, I know a lot of them were just nostalgic and cute and kind of fun and lighthearted, but I feel like those are the vibes that I like in the summer, and so I wanted to just share what I like to watch in the summer to get me in a summer mood. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and found something that you can maybe put on to watch to get you in the summer mood. If you want to find me anywhere else, I'll have all my other social medias down below as always, and thank you so much for watching.